AI is about to disrupt a lot more industries. I want to talk about two big news stories that dropped in the last 48 hours and what this means for businesses.
Anyone who's seriously using AI to do work knows that it's already capable of handling most work that can be done on a computer. However, actually deploying it into a real company is incredibly difficult right now. Well, both Anthropic and OpenAI realized that this is the barrier keeping people from integrating AI into their work. Anthropic just released an updated version of their plugin for financial analysts. And for the first time, they also released what they're calling a cookbook for managed agents. Financial analysts or anyone hiring a financial analyst can just download this cookbook, plug it into Claude, and immediately access sophisticated agents that handle the most common financial work. Now, it's clear they're starting with finance because that's one of the easiest industries to automate. But Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google are making it very clear they plan to do this to every industry. And that brings us to our second news story. Both Anthropic and OpenAI have just created ventures to do exactly that. OpenAI has announced the Deployment Company, which is pulling in billions of dollars of capital from some of the biggest private equity firms. And Anthropic has announced a currently unnamed venture, pulling in capital from some of the biggest capital allocators such as Blackstone and Goldman Sachs. The goal of each of these ventures is the same: to identify the fastest way to deploy AI into some of the biggest industries. The idea is to utilize the forward deployed engineer model popularized by Palantir. Both Anthropic and OpenAI will deploy their own engineers to work inside these companies. They'll first identify partners that want to deploy AI in their own company, and then they'll send their engineers to work inside those companies. So instead of paying a very expensive AI consultant to figure out how to deploy AI, they'll have the actual engineers from Anthropic or OpenAI building custom systems inside their company. And of course, OpenAI and Anthropic's goal is to figure out how to deploy AI into all companies. I think the fact that we saw OpenAI and Anthropic announce these ventures simultaneously speaks to how this was just clearly the next step in figuring out how to automate real work with AI. There's still a lot we have to figure out about how to best integrate AI into our work, but this project is clearly going to accelerate that progress. There's already a visible gap between the companies that are successfully integrating AI into their processes and those that aren't, and those that haven't figured it out yet or aren't even trying. I think it's safe to say that over the next year, we're going to see that gap widen very quickly.